Welcome to English with Cheri. I'm your host, Cheri, and this is the podcast where we learn English together in a fun, easy, and relaxed way. So if you're an A1 or A2 learner, you are in exactly the right place.
And I'm Nick, your co host. Every episode, we kind of jump into a new topic together. And today's topic is actually so fun. I've been looking forward to this one.
Right? I'm really excited about this one too. So today, we are going to the pool. Well, not literally, of course. Today's episode is called Let's Go Swimming. What to say in English. And honestly, this vocabulary is so useful. You know, whether you're traveling, visiting a public pool, or just watching the Olympics on TV.
Yeah, you need this vocabulary. And to be honest, I learned some of these words from today's episode myself. So let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, let's learn some words for the place where you swim. And the most basic word, the most important word, is the pool. A pool. That's the place where you swim. You can say, I'm going to the pool, or the pool is open today. Simple, right?
Yeah, super easy. I'm going to the pool. I say that one all the time.
Now, inside the pool, you'll notice there are long lines that divide the pool into sections. Each section is called a lane. A lane. So if you're a more serious swimmer, you might say, I swim in lane 3. At a public pool, you might actually share a lane with another person. But the idea is you stay in your lane.
Wait, stay in your lane? Isn't that also something people say in everyday life? Like, not about swimming.
Oh, good catch. Yes, actually, stay in your lane is also an expression in English that means mind your own business, like don't get involved in things that aren't your concern. So that's a bonus expression for today.
Wow, I did not know that. English is so interesting.
It really is. Okay, so another really important term, the shallow end and the deep end. So the shallow end is the part of the pool where the water is not very deep. Maybe the water comes up to your waist or your chest. The deep end is where the water is very deep. You can't touch the bottom with your feet.
Right. And I think a lot of people are a little nervous in the deep end. You know what I mean? That feeling when the floor just disappears below you.
Totally. And actually, that's a phrase we'll practice a little later. I'm a little nervous in the deep end. Very natural thing to say. Okay, so before you get in the water, you need to get changed, right? And the place where you change your clothes is called the locker room. The locker room. It usually has lockers, small metal boxes, where you can keep your bag and your things while you swim.
Got it. And what do you wear to swim? Is there a specific word for that?
Great question. So what you wear is called a swimsuit or swimwear. Swimsuit is one word, and it works for men and women. Swimwear is a bit more general and means all types of clothing for swimming. So you might say, I need to buy a new swimsuit, or don't forget your swimwear. Both work.
Swimsuit or swimwear. Okay, noted.
And then you'll probably also want goggles. Goggles. These are sort of like glasses that you wear in the water so the water doesn't hurt your eyes. They look a little funny, but they're really useful, especially if you're swimming underwater.
Yeah, I always wear goggles. Without them, I basically can't see anything underwater.
Right? And some swimmers also wear a swim cap. A swim cap is a tight rubber or silicone hat that you put on your head, and it keeps your hair, well, mostly dry. And it also helps you swim faster because there's less hair in the water creating resistance.
Wait, does it actually keep your hair completely dry though?
Honestly, not completely, but it helps a lot. And of course, when you're done swimming, you need a towel to dry yourself off. Very important. Always bring a towel. And one more very important person at the pool, the lifeguard. The lifeguard is the person whose job is to watch all the swimmers and make sure everyone is safe. If someone is in danger, the lifeguard helps them.
Right, the lifeguard. They usually sit up really high in a tall chair, right? So they can see the whole pool?
Yes, exactly right. That tall chair gives them a clear view of the entire pool. It's a really important job. Okay, so now that we know all the key people and places, let's talk about the actual swimming. These are called swimming strokes. A stroke is basically the movement, the technique you use with your body in the water. And there are four main strokes in competitive swimming.
Or, I honestly only really know one. Maybe one and a half.
Well, let's fix that. The first one and the most common stroke is freestyle. Freestyle. This is the stroke most people learn first. You move both arms forward, one at a time, and you kick your feet behind you. It's fast, it's efficient, and it's the stroke you see most in competitions.
Oh yeah, I know that one. That's basically what I call just swimming. I had no idea it had a real name.
So relatable. The second stroke is backstroke. Backstroke. So it's basically freestyle, but you're on your back. You look up at the ceiling or the sky and you move your arms backwards. Some people find it really relaxing.
That sounds kind of scary to me, honestly. You can't see where you're going.
That's true. You have to trust the lane line to guide you. Okay, the third stroke is breaststroke. Breaststroke. This is the one where your arms make a wide circle in front of you, kind of like you're pushing the water away from your chest. And your legs do what's called a frog kick. Your knees bend and your feet push out to the sides, like a frog.
Oh, the frog one. Yeah, I know that one. I sort of default to that when I'm tired.
Yes, the frog kick. Good mental image. And the last stroke, and honestly the hardest one, is butterfly. Butterfly. In butterfly, both arms come out of the water at the same time and go forward together like wings. And your body waves up and down like a dolphin. It takes a lot of strength and coordination to do it properly.
Tried butterfly once. It was not pretty. Pretty sure I was just splashing everywhere.
That's totally normal. Everyone starts like that when they're learning. Now let's practice some really useful everyday phrases, things you would actually say at the pool. So the first one is simple. I'm going swimming today. You can also say, I'm going to the pool today. Your friend asks what you're doing after work, and you say, I'm going swimming today. That's it. Easy.
That's a great one to start with. So simple. You'd use it all the time.
The next one is a question you might ask someone. Do you know how to swim? This is asking if someone has the skill of swimming, and it's a perfectly normal question. Not everyone learns to swim as a child, and that's okay. So if someone says, no, I don't know how to swim, you could say, that's okay, I can help you learn.
That one comes up more than you'd expect, honestly. Meeting someone new at a pool or beach and not knowing if they can swim, that's a real situation.
Exactly. Now this next one is really fun. Let's race to the end. So if you're at the pool with a friend and you want to have a little competition, you say, let's race to the end. The end means the far wall of the pool, the other side. It's a fun, energetic phrase.
Oh, I would absolutely say that, and then immediately regret it when the race actually starts.
Well, it's the fun that counts. Okay, here's a slightly more advanced one. Can you tread water? To tread water means to move your arms and legs just enough to stay in one place in the water. You're not going forward, you're just keeping yourself up. It's a really important survival skill in swimming.
So it's kind of staying in one spot, just moving enough to keep your head above the water.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. You kind of paddle with your hands and kick your feet just enough to keep your head above the water. And the question, can you tread water, is asking if someone has that skill. It's really good to know, especially in the deep end.
Got it. So it's less about going anywhere and more about just staying safe in deeper water.
You've got it. That's a perfect way to put it. And treading water is especially important once you're in the deep end, because that's exactly where people start to feel a little uneasy, which brings us to the next phrase perfectly. I'm a little nervous in the deep end. This is so real for so many people. The deep end can feel scary, especially if you can't see the bottom or your feet can't touch the floor. And it's completely okay to say that. I'm a little nervous in the deep end. There's no shame in it.
Yeah, the deep end has a very different feeling, even for people who can swim. I think it's natural to feel that way.
Completely natural. Okay, another really common thing to say, especially when you first get into the pool, the water is cold, right? Pools can be chilly sometimes, and that first moment when you step in, it's a shock to the system.
Oh, yes, when you slowly walk down the steps and the cold water is just creeping up your legs. Ugh, so uncomfortable.
Some people say the best thing is to just jump in quickly and get it over with. And finally, a really sweet phrase for beginners: can you teach me how to float? To float means your body stays on top of the water without sinking. It's actually one of the very first things you learn when you start swimming.
So, like, you just lie on your back and the water holds you. Is that right?
Basically, yes. Your body is naturally buoyant, which is a word that means it wants to float. You just have to relax and let the water support you. And you can ask a friend or a teacher, "Can you teach me how to float?" Such a good beginner phrase.
That's actually reassuring. I always worry I'm just going to sink straight to the bottom.
Well, so many people feel that way. It's one of the most common fears for new swimmers. But honestly, the human body floats more naturally than most people expect. The tricky part is just trusting it and staying relaxed. Once you feel it for the first time, it's a wonderful surprise. Okay, so that wraps up our phrases section. Now let's look at some key verbs you'll need. Ready?
Ready, let's do it.
The first one, and the most obvious, is to swim. To swim. I swim every morning. She can swim really fast. Super simple. Everyone knows this one, but it's good to hear it in a sentence.
To swim, the classic. Everything kind of builds from knowing that one first.
Next is to float. We talked about this already. I'm learning to float. Can you float on your back? To float, your body stays on top of the water. Then there's to dive. To dive means to jump into the water head first. Your hands and head go in first, not your feet. He dived into the pool. You might also hear he dove into the pool. Both are correct in everyday English.
Oh, interesting. So diving is specifically head first. And if you jump in feet first, what do you call that?
Great question. If you jump in feet first, you just say you jumped in. But there's also something called a cannonball. That's when you jump in feet first with your knees pulled up tight to your chest. It makes a huge splash and it's very fun.
Oh, yes, the cannonball. That's a classic move. The bigger the splash, the better.
So much fun. Okay, the next verb is to splash. To splash means to hit the water so that it flies up and sprays around. Kids love to splash each other at the pool.
Yeah, and there's always a sign that says no splashing, and absolutely nobody follows that rule.
Nobody. Okay, then there's a more serious verb, to drown. To drown means you go underwater and you cannot breathe. It's a dangerous situation. This is why lifeguards are so important and why we learn water safety. You might hear someone say, "She almost drowned, but the lifeguard saved her." It's an important word to know.
Yeah, that's a serious one. Really important to know that word.
Very important. Then we have to tread water. We talked about this as a phrase already, but it's also a verb on its own. I treaded water for 5 minutes. To tread water. Staying in one place, keeping your head up. And the last verb is to do laps. To do laps means to swim back and forth in the pool, from one end to the other end multiple times. Serious swimmers and athletes do laps for exercise. A serious swimmer might say, "I do 20 laps every morning."
20 laps every morning? That sounds absolutely exhausting.
It does, but I'm sure it's a fantastic workout. So our swimming verbs are to swim, to float, to dive, to splash, to drown, to tread water, and to do laps. 7 important verbs. Say them again slowly in your head. To swim, to float, to dive, to splash, to drown, to tread water, to do laps. Really good to have those.
Okay, so now let's talk about what you say when you're tired, because swimming is harder than it looks and I always get tired.
Yes, this section is so useful. Swimming looks easy when you watch other people, but when you're actually in the water, it takes real effort. So the first expression is, I'm out of breath. Out of breath means you are breathing very fast and you don't have enough air. After swimming a hard lap, you might stop at the wall and say, I'm out of breath.
That's basically me after 2 laps. My lungs just can't keep up.
Honestly, same, no judgment. Then there's I'm getting tired. This means you are starting to feel tired, not completely exhausted yet, but you're feeling the effort. I'm getting tired. Let's slow down a little. It's a natural thing to say to a friend or your instructor.
Right. It's not dramatic, it's just a natural way to tell someone you need to ease up a bit.
And then, let's take a break. This is great for any situation, not just swimming. You're suggesting to stop for a moment and rest. Let's take a break. Casual, friendly, and very natural. You could say this at the pool, at work, during a long walk. It works everywhere.
I say that one constantly, and not just at the pool. It really does work everywhere.
It's a very versatile phrase. And one more. I need to catch my breath. To catch your breath means to rest long enough so that your breathing goes back to normal. Wait, I need to catch my breath. You often say this after swimming hard, running, or doing any intense physical activity. It's a really common expression.
I need to catch my breath. Yeah, I've definitely said that. So to summarize, I'm out of breath, I'm getting tired, let's take a break, and I need to catch my breath. All super useful.
Perfect summary. Okay, before we wrap up the main content, let's do a quick but really important section, water safety phrases. These are things you might hear at the pool, or things you would say to keep yourself and others safe.
Yeah, this is important stuff. Safety first, right?
Always. So the first safety phrase is really simple. Be careful. Just 2 words. You say this when you see someone about to do something dangerous or when the floor is wet and slippery. Be careful, the floor is wet. Short, clear, and easy to remember.
Be careful. Yeah, you hear that a lot at pools, especially with kids around.
So much with kids. The next one, don't run near the pool. The area around the pool is almost always wet and the floor is slippery. Running is dangerous. You can fall and get hurt. The lifeguard might say this, or a parent, or a teacher. Don't run near the pool. You see this on signs everywhere too.
Yeah, every pool has that sign. And honestly, adults need that reminder too sometimes.
Definitely. And the last safety phrase, and I think this is one of the most important ones, always swim with a buddy. Buddy is a friend, a partner, someone who is with you. This means never swim alone. Always have someone nearby. If something happens, if you get tired, if you get a cramp, or you need help, your buddy is there. Always swim with a buddy. It could save your life.
Such important advice. Even experienced swimmers should follow that rule, right?
Everyone. No exceptions. Safety always comes first at the pool. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our main content today. What a great episode this has been.
That was so much vocabulary, but I feel really good about it, you know? It feels manageable.
That's the goal. Let's do a quick recap together. So today we covered pool vocabulary. Pool, lane, shallow end, deep end, locker room, swimsuit, swimwear, goggles, swim cap, towel, and lifeguard.
And the 4 swimming strokes: freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. I will remember butterfly because it's the hard one.
The hardest one. We also practiced phrases, I'm going swimming today, do you know how to swim, let's race to the end, can you tread water, I'm a little nervous in the deep end, the water is cold, and can you teach me how to float?
And the verbs: to swim, to float, to dive, to splash, to drown, to tread water, and to do laps.
And when you're tired, I'm out of breath, I'm getting tired, let's take a break, and I need to catch my breath. Plus our water safety reminders. Be careful, don't run near the pool, and always swim with a buddy. So much good stuff in one episode.
And it's also practical too. I mean, you could use this vocabulary on your next vacation, at a public pool, watching a swim meet, basically anywhere near water.
I love that you said that. Practical English for real life. That's what English with Cheri is all about. So here is your challenge for this week. Say 1 sentence in English about swimming. Just 1 sentence. Write it down, say it out loud, say it to a friend. You can say, I want to go swimming, or I can swim freestyle, or even just the water is cold. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you practice.
Right. And even if you don't swim, even if you've never been in a pool in your life, you now know all this vocabulary. That is already a win. You learned something today. Be proud of that.
That's exactly the mindset that helps you improve when learning. All right, everyone, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You are doing amazing. Every episode you listen to, every word you learn, you are getting better. Keep going. I'm Cheri.
And I'm Nick. Keep practicing, keep learning, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you grow.
We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.